And of course, reactions have come in and responses have come in from world leaders across, from President Donald Trump to Russian President Vladimir Putin. World leaders have unequivocally condemned this terror attack in Jammu and Kashmir's Pahalgam, in which 27 tourists have been reportedly killed.
US President Donald Trump strongly condemned the terror attack in a phone call with the Indian Prime Minister and expressed full support for India to bring to justice the perpetrators of this heinous attack. Calling the attack deeply disturbing, Trump said that the US stands strong with India against terrorism and prays for the souls of those lost and for the recovery of the injured.
Russian President Vladimir Putin also minced no words in condemning the Pahalgam terror attack. In a letter addressed to Prime Minister Modi and President Draupadi Murmu, President Putin said this brutal crime has no justification and Russia expects that its organizers and perpetrators will face deserved punishment. Putin added that Russia is committed to increasing cooperation with Indian partners to combat terrorism in all its forms and manifestations.
Meanwhile, the Ukrainian embassy in India, said that they endure the loss of life from terrorism daily and firmly condemn terrorism in all its forms, stressing that the perpetrators should be held accountable. Ukraine says when innocent people are murdered, it brings unbearable pain.
Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman also conveyed his condolences, stating that Saudi Arabia stands with India and is ready to offer any needed support. Prime Minister Modi, who was in Saudi Arabia at the time of the attack, cut short his visit, is now in India. The bilateral meeting between Indian Prime Minister and Saudi Crown Prince began with the condemnation of the attack.
The meeting began with the reference to the unfortunate terror attack that has happened in India. Both the leaders expressed their condemnation for the terror attack. His Royal Highness Crown Prince conveyed his condolences and sympathies and offered any help in this regard to us.
Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said he is deeply saddened by the barbaric terrorist attack in Pahalgam, adding that Israel stands with India in its fight against terrorism. Israel's Foreign Minister Gideon Saar condemned the attack and expressed solidarity. Neighboring Iran also offered its condolences to the people of India, particularly to the families of the victims, and wished for the speedy recovery of those injured.
British Prime Minister Keir Starmer wrote on social media that the horrific terrorist attack in Kashmir is utterly devastating.
And for more on this, WION special correspondent Idris Sloan is joining us live from Srinagar. Idris, thank you so much for joining us. Of course, you showed us the area earlier as well. From what we are expecting, Union Home Minister Amit Shah is expected to visit Pahalgam as well. What can you tell us?
Well, right now I'm at the police control room in Srinagar. As you can see, there's a lot of movement here of the Jammu and Kashmir policemen as well as the paramilitary forces. We're being told that all the bodies of the victims from yesterday's attack have been basically kept in the police control room. Their relatives who were along with them have also been brought here. We've also got a schedule of the flights for 25 dead bodies which will be shifted from the PCR to the Srinagar airport just in a while, and they'll be taken to their resident states. What we're also hearing from our sources is that the Home Minister, who's in Srinagar, is most likely going to come and visit the police control room and meet with the families who have lost their loved ones in the attack. As you can see, the whole Srinagar has been put on high alert. Not only Srinagar, but different parts of the Kashmir Valley have been put on high alert. Security forces on the ground, the number of the security personnel on the ground have also been increased. We're also getting news from the line of control. In North Kashmir's Uri sector, there has been an infiltration bid which has been foiled by the Indian Army just a while ago. They've said that a group of militants was trying to infiltrate into the Kashmir territory. They suspected the movement and started firing on them. The gunfight still on, operation still on. Security forces believing that there were 2 to 3 militants who who were basically trying to infiltrate into the Kashmir territory. There are unconfirmed reports which have not been confirmed by the Indian Army that there was a ceasefire violation in the Poonch sector as well. Pakistan Army has fired towards the Indian post in the Poonch sector. However, the Indian Army is yet to confirm on that. So it seems like the borders which have been kept on high alert, there's movement on the borders as well as if we talk about various districts of the Kashmir Valley as well as in Jammu, security has been put on high alert. We're being told that the National Security Advisor has also briefed the Prime Minister about the current situation across Jammu and Kashmir, especially with regard to yesterday's attack. Now, what we are waiting for is that the bodies that have been kept at the police control room in Srinagar will be basically taken to the airport and dispatched to their residence states in different flights that will be taking off from the Kashmir.
Yeah, Idris, now what happened in Pahalgam, as we're still coming to terms with what needs to be done on that, from what I've just gathered, from what you've shared with us, there is an infiltration bid which was foiled in Uri and also a confrontation which is carrying on in Poonch. Can you give us a better understanding? Is this a multi-front attack that is kind of taking place, or at least that is being planned? A ceasefire violation as well, all happening in a span of within 24 hours?
Because of course from where what happened yesterday, the situation only seems to have turned more volatile based on what you're telling us right now.
Well, absolutely. Looking at the situation, it seems like not only the interior areas of the Kashmir division, but also the borders have been kept on high alert as there has been movement on the borders with regard to North Kashmir in Uri. As I said, the Indian Army has confirmed that there was a group of militants which were trying to infiltrate into the Kashmir territory. The security forces who are basically posted on the line of control saw the suspicious movement, and there was a gun battle which started between the militants and security forces on that front. The operation is still in progress, but the militants were not able to infiltrate into the Kashmir territory. On the other hand, the news coming in from Poonch district, where an unconfirmed report, because the army has not confirmed it yet, but from our sources we've heard that the Pakistani troops basically fired towards the Indian Army's post on the forward post of the Poonch border as well. It does seem, Shivan, that after the statements that have come from the Pak Army chief just a week ago, after that the situation in the Kashmir Valley seems to have taken a turn, especially if we talk about the militant attack that took place in Baisaran yesterday. We've seen these kind of attacks on security forces in the Jammu belt, especially in the Rajouri-Poonch belt, where there have been multiple attacks in the last 6 months in that area, where these militants basically used to come down from these dense forests, attack on security forces and then go back into the dense forest. Some of those attacks did take place in the recent weeks as well. This is a similar kind of attack that has taken place yesterday in the Baisaran area, but for the first time ever, the civilian population, the tourists, were made victims of these attacks. And it was a targeted attack because the militants did know that it's a very touristy place. They called out the tourists separately and then shot them.
No, it was an absolutely heinous attack, the likes of which we have not seen anywhere in recent times. The security forces have been targeted time and again, but to target unarmed civilians who are there as tourists, and it's a tourist location, so they were clear where they wanted to attack and who they wanted to kill in this point. You're also mentioning the ceasefire violation. Again, we like to reiterate that that's an unconfirmed report at this point in Poonch, and also a foiled incursion that was taking place in Uri. So that means even after all these statements that have come in from leaders across the world, and the Indian Prime Minister coming right back to India, cutting short that state visit, still these incursions are taking place. Can you give us a timeline on what time exactly this incident in Uri and Poonch had taken place, just to understand, did it happen after these reactions had come in? So there seems to be no stopping, regardless of how strongly India is now condemning this attack?
Well, absolutely. The Uri incident has just taken place just a while ago. The Indian Army has also tweeted it is this morning that a group of militants basically from across the border were trying to infiltrate into the Kashmir territory, and the suspicious movement was seen by the Indian Army, and they foiled that basically that infiltration.
Yes.
But at the moment they've also said that the operation is still on. The firing is still on, so the operation is ongoing. On the other hand, we've also heard the news that was coming from the Poonch, which has not been confirmed by the army, but from the army sources,
Understood.
that there was there was firing from the Pakistani army side towards the Indian army post this morning, early morning today only. So both the incidents have taken place early today morning after the by-sudden attack that took place yesterday in the Pahalgam. There seems to be obviously, as the whole security apparatus across Jammu and Kashmir has been put on high alert. We're seeing huge deployment placed all across Kashmir division, especially in Srinagar as well as in the south of Kashmir.
All right, Idris, thanks for getting us the latest on that. This is extremely devastating to hear that regardless of the strong condemnation that has come in from world leaders, apart from the condemnation coming in from the Kashmir Valley and entire India for that matter, even then we are hearing of encounters which are carrying on in Uri and Poonch, and this is within 24 hours of that devastating attack by Saran in Pahalgam. We will be tracking this closely for you. Thanks, Idris, for getting us the latest. Please stay safe while you're there and keep getting us the ground reports as they happen.